Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Dr. Carmen E. Bovell. And also, just so you're all aware, we also have her son, Marlon Bovell, on the line. And, periodically he'll be making an appearance as well. And we're going to be discussing Carmen's amazing book, The 4 R's of Parenting. Available for purchase through Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, all the regular online book resellers. But if you want to gather everything that she has in store, well, people, do yourself a favor and head directly to her personal site. And that's 4-rs-ofparenting.com. Now, just to make sure there's no confusion here, that's 4, the word, not the number. So FOUR-RS-ofparenting.com. There, you're going to find more information on her, more information on this fantastic book, as well as find hyperlinks set up to take it to the purchasing pages. It really is a one-stop shop for everything that she has in store. Head on over there today and take advantage of it. And before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and quickly point out the fact that Carmen was brought to our network by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, I'm talking about Citi of Books. So for my writers out there who have gone through their process creating their masterpiece and now you need help moving the book you just developed, contact Citi of Books because this is exactly what they specialize in. Now, you're going to want to head on over to citiofbooks.com today and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have Carmen and Marlon here on the line. It rhymes. I didn't even realize that a second ago. Hey, listen, it's a pleasure to have them with us here, people, because this book, The 4 R's of Parenting, is something you need to add to your shelf. Okay, this is a magnificent resource filled with so much helpful information, educational and informative to no end. It's going to showcase the importance of positive parenting. And I'm just going to take a second here. And although my children are very young, that positive parenting is something, I understand is absolutely needed. But sometimes it is not that easy to be positive. Man, they put you through the ringer, people. I get it. But promise you, by doing that, you're now going to strengthen and fortify a base that is going to not only build your relationship, but help build strong, independent children in the future. I love what this book symbolizes. I love what it represents, and I love how accessible the information is. This is coming from a knowledgeable place, not only from Carmen's perspective, but for all the people, the individuals that she's tapped into for information as well to help fortify the book. Yeah, I'm telling you, sit back, strap in, have your notebooks ready, because she's about to take us back to the classroom. And by the time we've concluded, you're going to run and purchase your copies because you're going to understand, this is a book I need to add to my shelf. And I thought I had it figured out, but now I know the 4 R's and I'm set up for success. Carmen, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. Well, Carmen and Marlon, how are each of you doing today?
I'm doing very well, and I'm so happy to be on your show. Thank you so much for having me, for interviewing me about my book.
I am doing well, too. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Absolutely. Guys, listen, it really is our pleasure. I really do mean this. Carmen, what you've comprised here is something that is very beneficial. And again, as a fairly new parent myself, a lot of this you may have had an idea prior to actually, but it's one of those things, man, where it's like once you're on the journey, it's like all bets are off because now you're in it. It doesn't matter how much conversations you had beforehand. The books that you've read, they're all great and they're going to help. But there's nothing quite like being in that moment, raising your children. That just kind of puts things in a different perspective there for you. So welcome to the network. We're looking forward to it. Carmen, first and foremost, let's learn more about yourself and your background.
Well, I've been a teacher of very young kids. I started at age 16 in Guyana, my home country, Guyana, South America. I taught there for a number of years before moving to the U.S., where I got back into teaching. But in the U.S., rather than the elementary or primary school, I got into preschool. I got into child care.
Okay.
And it was very, very interesting working with babies and preschool age children. Had a close working relationships with parents. And that's where I became interested in the important role of parenting and said, hey, I'm going to have to give parents some advice. Not me telling them, but to have these successful parents, these positive parents, these people I love and admire, have them share with fellow parents their strategies and techniques and so on. And that has worked quite well.
Perfect. Well, listen, following off of that, because I have a lot of questions, and some selfishly for myself, let's start off building off of inspiration, because I think you've already started to go onto that and what the precipice was for the interest in creating this. Now, your experience working with children and helpful tips that you picked up along the way very easily could have stayed as something you verbally told those around you, or a book that you wrote that stayed on your personal shelf. You took it upon yourself to then publish the book for the world to be a part of. What inspired you to do that? What were you seeing that made you feel this was going to be a benefit to every parent that picked it up?
And that's exactly why I published the book, because I wanted to spread the word from parents to parents universally. I have watched parents parent. I've watched positive parenting. I've watched challenging parenting that did not benefit children. And so I wanted parents to talk to parents. I didn't want to say, do this, do that, do that. I wanted positive parenting to be shared by parents who have been successful in raising their kids, and they want to talk about it. They want to say, look, I understand you're going through A, B, C, D, but try this, try that. And that's worked. So I'm happy that I was able to put that information in the book.
Yeah. Curiosity from myself here, Carmen, what do you believe is the biggest misconception that people, or parents rather, have about fostering independence in their children?
I don't think that, well, the parents I've interacted with, the parents I've worked with, I don't think that they want their children to be, what word should I use, to be difficult or challenging at school or when they become adults. But what they don't understand themselves is the importance of their behaviors being positive, because children are going to learn from them.
Yeah.
Children listen, they look, They ask questions. Oh, my parents are number one in the lives of children. And so their behaviors need to be that, number one. So children can learn, positive. But I mean, it's hard work. But once you get some advice from those who have the key knowledge, understanding of parenting, it'll help. It'll go a long way in helping you kind of modify your behaviors, parenting behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Carmen, I know your book discusses a values-based concept called intentional parenting. Well, I'm really curious about this formula. Talk to us a little bit more about that. What does that entail? What does that look like from a parent standpoint?
Well, you have to be intentional as a parent, and your intent is to raise children positively so that they have positive learning experiences in school. They have positive experiences, social and emotional experiences with teachers and their fellow students, so that they know what to do when they have problems, even as little kids. Little kids need to learn how to solve problems.
Yeah.
If somebody hits you, you don't have to hit them back. You don't have to hit them back, even though some parents tell them, hit it. If they hit you, hit them back.
Right.
Well, that's I think that's the negative aspect. But what I see and what parents the positive in the positive parenting domain say to kids, if somebody hits you, go tell your teacher. And take it from there.
Carmen, I think that's a great point, right? I mean, because listen, that reminds me of the old adage of an eye for an eye, right? Well, what coincides with that is an eye for an eye leaves us both blind, right? So you can't meet violence with violence, although sometimes you may want to. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best choice. People, I'm telling you, this is a wonderful resource to be added to your shelf. It's called The 4 R's of Parenting, available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble. But make sure to check out her personal site, 4-rs-ofparenting.com, to gather everything that she has in store. Carmen, a question here for you. And listen, I hear what you're talking about in terms of positive parenting. And I'm there for it because I recognize, again, as a parent myself, the positive implementation that we have set for our children, it really works. And it works wonderfully well. Well, I'm curious now to ask you, what role does discipline play in building that? And how do you suggest parents approach that disciplining their children effectively?
Well, if you think about the 4 R's, respect, responsibility, reciprocity, restraint. Think about the 4 R's. What does each R tell you about discipline or how to discipline? Respect. If you respect your child, how should you discipline that child? Or how should you discipline that child to demonstrate to that child is respected? Reciprocity is key, I think, and restraint are key behaviors in disciplining kids. Reciprocity meaning, do unto others as you want them to do to you. So if you are, the only thing you want to do is to hit your child, slap your child, when the child does something wrong, when the child goes to school and somebody does something wrong, what do you think the child will do? That's how we'll hit and slap, just like you. Just like you, because You're the teacher. No, restraint. That's great. I like that parenting practice of restraint. Teaching, respecting your kids to the point that you don't slap, hurt, curse at them. Some parents do. You curse, you tell them only negative things about themselves.
Right.
You bypass positive. You don't see positive behavior. You don't look for positive. You don't give them a hug for positive, a kiss, a pat on the back. But if they do something negative, you're going to give them a slap. You might lock them in their room. You may put them in a chair to sit and watch the wall. All the negative things that parents do.
Uh-huh.
But parents need to remember, you behaving or responding negatively to your child is telling the child, hey, this is how you got to respond when you have things that bother you or concern you. So we have to think about, parents have to think about the 4 R's in terms of how they are going to behave towards their kids. And if you have mother and father with children, how are you behaving towards each other?
Mm-hmm.
What's the relationship parent to parent that children observe, children listen to? Hey, you've got to think seriously about the fact that as a parent, what you do, what you say, how you act, and other behaviors are all a part of your parenting. As children observe and copy, do the same things that you do. That's what they learn. They learn, and how they learn. They learn from you.
One of the final things when you're talking about the way you carry yourself around, because children are very observant. And even when you feel like they're not paying attention or they're not listening to what you're saying, they're jotting it all down, and they're sponges, right? They're soaking it all up and they're all in. And it's something that you have to be aware of because it makes such a long-lasting impression, even if it's not directly related to the child themselves. The child is in that household. Your relationship with your significant other or those around you will now be emulated in your child as well. And they'll carry that as the definition of what they should be doing. So this is something fantastic. People, listen, we've barely scratched the surface and I'm already hooked, okay? You understand where you gotta go. Carmen, as we start to close out of here, Marlon as well, I want to take a second here and talk about the writing process.
I don't know exactly how many months, but the book took several months to write. And my mother painstakingly interviewed, well, not painstakingly, she intimately interviewed at least 42 participants.
Wow.
And as she said earlier, she did not want to give advice or be the speaker just because she has the background to do so. She took those words, she recorded them, and then they were transcribed, and people's words in the book are as they spoke them. My mother did not put any words in anyone's mouth. She asked the questions, and you receive the answers from each participant. It took months to compile, then put in order, and then also organized by young adults, parents, and then grandparents.
Yeah.
And at the end of each chapter, she summarized it to just bring all of the points home. I helped her with a lot of the technical aspects of it as well as being interviewed, transcribing, organizing the pages before it went to the publisher, It was a lot of work. But if you do plan on writing a book, don't be discouraged. As my mother, I saw her doing this for, like I said, several months. You take your time and you put in the work, you can also write a successful book. So don't be discouraged.
Love that.
The interviewing process was, oh my, interesting. I mean, I kind of touched my heart just listening to parents, and sometimes I even shed tears listening. It was so touching. I mean, it was a beautiful process, just talking to so many parents and hearing them. Well, I asked questions and they answered the questions, and as they answered, other questions came up. I asked, and the process was just a beautiful, loving one, because they wanted to share. They wanted to share with parents who they thought could benefit from what worked for them. And hopefully parents would practice what they learned, and it'll be beneficial to their children in the long run.
Listen, it starts with this book. The 4 R's of parenting is something that is going to help you as a parent. It's going to even help you as a partner. Because I tell you, you could take those 4 R's and it's going to make you a better husband. It's going to make you a better wife. It's going to make you a better friend. This is a lifestyle change. This is a movement. Take the book, receive it where you are, and implement it into your lives. And I promise you, tomorrow is going to be a brighter day because of books like this. And you got Dr. Carmen E. Bovell to thank for all of it. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's 4-rs-ofparenting.com. Head on over there, pick up your copies, and get lost in this magnificent book. Carmen, Marlon, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute delight. Thank you for the wonderful words of wisdom. Thank you for creating this magnificent book. And thank you, most importantly, for being a guest here with us to discuss it on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. It was wonderful.